Okay, here in 7b, we have three different things we need to graph for our piecewise function. The first function there, x plus 1, is a line. Here they're telling us that the function goes from -3 to 2. So this one does not have an arrow. It starts and stops at those two specific numbers. So let's figure out what those points are. So if I take the lowest domain, which is -3, and plug it in the equation here, I get -3 plus 1, which is -2. So let's go ahead and plot that. -3, -2. Okay, made a mistake again because what type of a circle should that be? If I look at the sign here, it should be an open circle. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And now I'm going to go ahead and make it an open circle. -3, -2. Now to figure out what the other part, where it ends that line, it's ending at 2. So let's plug in 2 in the line. 2 plus 1 is 3. So I'm going to plot 2, 3. 2, 3 has to be a closed circle because it's got the equal sign underneath. 2, 3. So let's go ahead and do that one. 2, 3 right here. And I'm going to go ahead and connect it with a straight line. Okay, for the second one, f of x equals 4 when x equals 0, that's not a line, that's a point. To figure out what point it is, it says it right there in the problem. Your x is 0, your answer is 4. So let's go ahead and plot 0, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the last line is f of x equals the absolute value of x when x is greater than 2. We all know an absolute value graph looks like a V shape starting at the origin. Here they're telling us that this absolute value graph starts at 2. So we know the absolute value of 2 is 2. So let's go ahead and plot that one. 2, 2, right there. And it says all my x's have to be greater than 2. Look what I forgot to do, guys. I forgot to look at the sign. What type of a circle should this be? It should be open. So I need to go ahead and erase that now. Oops, and make it an open circle. What is that? 2, 2. 2, 2. And let me fix the other line that I messed up. Right there. Okay. Alright, now, all my x's are greater than 2. So if I plug in 3, I get 3, 3. If I plug in 4, I get 4, 4. So the direction of this absolute value graph starts at 2, and it's going up this way with an arrow. Alright, now we need to talk about specifically what is the domain. Okay, so I'm going to do this in red. What is my lowest x value for my domain? It looks like it's right here, which is, what number is that? -3. It does not include it because it's an open circle, so I'm going to have a parentheses, -3, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. It does include the 2 because that black circle is darker, closed, so it's all the way to infinity. My range is my y values. Okay, what's my lowest y value? It looks like it's -2. See right here? So I have a parentheses, -2, and it keeps going up and up and up to infinity. Okay, next thing, intercepts. All right, this is a hard one. Unless you had a ruler, you would know exactly where that black line crosses the x and y axis. So we do know that our first intercept is the dot. So that's one of them, which is 0, 4. To get the other two, you would have to take that equation, which was x plus 1. So to find an x-intercept, you would have to take x plus 1 and actually replace the y with 0 and solve it for x. So this x-intercept is -1. So that's another intercept, -1, 0. Then to find the y-intercept, you would do its opposite and replace that equation, the x with 0. So my y-intercept is 0, 1. So this graph has 3 different intercepts. Just takes practice knowing if it's open and closed. Make sure you look at the sign. See how I made that mistake? And then be careful with your domain and range.